Picture this: you're standing at the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling beneath your feet. Your job has vanished, the bills are stacking up relentlessly like a cruel game of Tetris, and every day feels like an uphill battle where you're barely holding on. You're exhausted, running on empty, yet somehow you have to summon the strength to be the rock for your family, the anchor they depend on. Now, imagine being that dad, Marcus, a hardworking man who's pushed to his absolute limit, walking into a job interview with his 6-month-old daughter in tow. What happens next isn't just surprising, it's downright miraculous, and it'll change how you think about hope, resilience, and what it means to fight for your loved ones. This is the story of Marcus Carter, a 32-year-old mechanic from Ohio. He's a man who's been beaten down by circumstances beyond his control but refuses to give up. After losing his job when the auto shop he worked at shut its doors, Marcus found himself navigating a storm of uncertainty. He's fighting desperately to keep his wife Sarah and their infant daughter Lily afloat in a world that seems designed to crush them. But what really sets this story apart is the moment Marcus makes a bold choice, one most people wouldn't even consider, bringing his baby to a job interview that could change everything. It's not just a tale of struggle, it's a testament to the unbreakable bond of family, the quiet power of resilience, and the extraordinary kindness that can show up when you least expect it. Trust me, by the time this story ends, you'll feel inspired, moved, and maybe even a little bit hopeful about what life can throw your way. Let's rewind a bit and set the scene. Marcus isn't just any guy who lost a job, he's a man who built a decade-long career fixing cars in a small, tight-knit Ohio community. He took pride in his work. Every engine he repaired, every problem he solved was a small victory. But in early 2023, the rug was pulled out from under him when the shop closed abruptly, a victim of economic shifts that have uprooted millions across the country. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 2.7 million people were laid off nationwide that year, and Marcus was one of them. The timing couldn't have been worse. Sarah had just given birth to their daughter, Lily, who required constant care and attention. Medical bills from complications added to the mounting financial strain, and with Sarah unable to work, Marcus was the sole provider. Every day was a grueling balancing act, juggling rent, groceries, diapers, and the ever-present fear of falling behind. But unemployment is more than just an empty wallet, it's a creeping erosion of hope and spirit. It's the 2 a.m. panic, staring at your phone, wondering how you'll keep the lights on or fill the fridge. It's the gnawing guilt when your child needs something as simple as a new onesie or a warm meal, and you can't provide it. Marcus lived in this painful reality every single day. He would wake up before dawn, hunched over his laptop in the dim light of his cramped apartment, scrolling endlessly through job listings on Indeed, Monster, and every site he could find. By the middle of the year, he had applied for over 150 positions, anything from warehouse work to retail to delivery jobs. But the answers were cold and brutal, mostly silence, or the dreaded rejection emails. The American Psychological Association estimates unemployment increases the risk of anxiety and depression by over 60%, and Marcus felt that crushing weight in his bones. Nights became endless, filled with worry, and every time he looked into Lily's innocent eyes, the fear of failing her threatened to overwhelm him. Still, Marcus refused to quit. Growing up in a working-class family, he'd watched his father grind away at 2 jobs, a factory shift by day and janitorial work by night, just to keep their family afloat. That relentless work ethic was part of Marcus's DNA. So when a local hardware store posted an opening for a cashier, Marcus didn't hesitate, even though it paid far less than his mechanic job. This was a lifeline, a chance to claw his family back from the edge. The catch? The interview was on the same day Sarah was scheduled to work a shift at a diner, and with childcare costs skyrocketing, paying a babysitter wasn't an option. Marcus faced a gut-wrenching choice: miss the interview and lose the opportunity, or bring Lily with him and take a risk that could go either way. Outside the hardware store that morning, Marcus felt his heart pound in his chest. He wore his only clean button-up shirt, carried a diaper bag slung over one shoulder, and balanced Lily's car seat in the other hand. He could have turned around and called to reschedule or begged a neighbor for help, but something inside him, a blend of desperate hope and stubborn determination, pushed him forward. Lily babbled cheerfully in her seat, her tiny hands waving like a personal cheer squad. According to a 2021 CareerBuilder survey, 68% of hiring managers consider unprofessional behavior a deal-breaker, and showing up to an interview with a baby is definitely a gamble. But Marcus knew there was no other choice. He swallowed his fear, took a deep breath, and stepped inside. The hardware store hummed with the noise of customers and the buzz of fluorescent lights. Tom, the longtime cashier, gave Marcus a curious look as he entered with Lily in tow. In the back office, Linda, the store manager, sat waiting. Known around town as a tough but fair leader, Linda eyed Marcus's nervous demeanor and the baby's innocent face. Marcus set down Lily's car seat and began to explain, his words a nervous mix of apology and determination. Before he could finish, Lily let out a bright, contagious giggle. Linda's stern face softened, and she leaned forward. "She's adorable," she said warmly. "What's her name?" That small moment broke the ice, unlocking a connection that no resume or cover letter ever could. Marcus settled into the interview, his nerves easing as he spoke about his years as a mechanic. He described his passion for problem solving, whether fixing a car engine or helping a frustrated customer. Meanwhile, Lily cooed softly, occasionally catching Linda's attention with wide-eyed wonder. Harvard Business Review research shows that honesty in interviews can increase your chances of being hired by 20%, and Marcus was as honest as it gets. He didn't hide the fact that he'd been laid off and was struggling. Instead, he showed up raw and real, a dad doing everything in his power to support his family. That kind of authenticity was impossible to ignore. Halfway through, Lily began to fuss, her tiny whimpers filling the quiet office. Marcus gently scooped her up, rocking her softly while answering a question about inventory management. Linda watched intently, her eyes narrowing, not in disapproval, but with recognition. Marcus shared how he taught himself to fix cars as a teenager, watching YouTube tutorials late into the night after his parents had gone to sleep. "You're a problem solver," Linda said approvingly. "That's exactly what we need here." The interview had turned from a test into a conversation, and Marcus felt a glimmer of hope. Near the end, Linda posed a tough scenario: what would you do if a customer came in angry about a broken tool? Just then, Lily dropped her rattle, the noise startling but somehow perfectly timed. Marcus bent down, picked up the rattle, and handed it back to her with a smile. Then he answered, "I'd listen carefully to the customer, understand what's wrong, and fix it quickly, just like I'd pick up Lily's rattle without hesitation." Linda burst out laughing, the tension evaporating. That moment said more than any rehearsed answer could. A 2022 LinkedIn study found that 74% of employers value soft skills like adaptability and empathy over technical knowledge, and Marcus had just demonstrated those qualities in full. Linda wrapped up the interview with a warm smile and a simple, "We'll be in touch." Marcus left the store feeling a mix of hope and anxiety, wondering if bringing Lily had helped or hurt his chances. Then, just 2 days later, his phone rang. It was Linda. "You're hired," she said, offering $16 an hour plus benefits after 3 months. But then she said something that hit Marcus like a lightning bolt: "Bringing Lily showed me who you are. We don't just need workers here, we need people who care." Tears streamed down Marcus's face, not just relief, but a profound sense of validation and hope. He held Lily close and whispered, "We did it, kiddo." When Sarah came home from her diner shift, Marcus shared the news. They danced in their tiny living room, Lily giggling between them, her little arms waving like she knew they'd won something huge. According to a 2020 National Institute of Health study, stable employment can reduce family stress by up to 40%, and for Marcus's family, this was just the beginning. Confidence returned, Sarah cut back her hours, and dreams of a better future, for a bigger home, for Lily's college, started to feel possible again. But Marcus's story didn't end there. His honesty and courage created a ripple effect at the hardware store. Word spread, and customers began asking for the dad with the baby. They brought toys for Lily, shared their own stories, and left with smiles. A 2023 Gallup poll showed 60% of Americans feel disconnected at work, but Marcus helped turn the store into a community where people felt seen and supported. Inspired by him, Linda launched a Bring Your Kid to Work Day, encouraging staff to open up and support each other. Marcus's journey is a powerful reminder for all of us. In a world that pushes perfection and hides flaws, he showed that being real, messy, vulnerable, and human can open doors you never thought possible. That day, Marcus didn't just bring his daughter to an interview, he brought his whole heart. And that heart didn't just get him a job, it touched everyone around him. So the next time you're scared to show your true self, remember Marcus. Be brave. Be authentic. Because you never know who's watching, ready to give you a chance.